So this is the latest film from writer-director Drew Hancock, who has done some TV and he's done a lot of writing. This is his first feature film, first directorial debut. It stars Sophie Thatcher and Jack Quaid. Sophie Thatcher is Iris, and Jack Quaid is Josh. They are this happy couple. They seem to be the perfect couple. Iris fawns over Josh, wants him to be happy, wants to make sure his every need is met. It's kind of a little bit too good to be true. Our couple is going on a getaway weekend with some friends at a not deserted a cabin out in the woods, which turns out to be a really big house. Their friends Kat and Eli are. She is dating this very wealthy Russian guy named Sergey, who might be a gangster, a real shady looking dude, like 25 years older than her. But there's just a few of them getting together for the weekend. They're also joined by Lukas Gage and Harvey Guillén, who are a happy couple as well. And I don't want to talk too much about this, but it's a getaway movie. We're at a cabin in the woods. Everything seems kind of too good to be true. Iris is nervous because she wants to make a good impression. She's meeting Josh's friends. She wants to get along with everyone. She's afraid, what she's a little insecure about what people might think. But there's a lot more going on than appears, and Sergey kind of has eyes for Iris, and also strikes us as a man who doesn't take no for an answer. So that's our setup, and that's as much as I'll say. Well, we're gonna have to talk around the plot a lot, but still lots to talk about. What do you think, Zach?
I like Companion, and I didn't think I was gonna like it, which is, I think, a good foot to start off on for the review. Like, I had seen the trailers a couple times. The big claim was like from the producers of Barbarian, and there's a scene where Jack Quaid and Sophie Thatcher are sitting at a table, and he puts a candle under her outstretched arm, and it starts to burn, and she's kind of freaking out about it, but just sitting there quietly. Like, it's this odd. Something's going on here, a surreal thriller kind of look, and there wasn't a lot that I knew about it, but it just didn't seem. I don't know. It didn't look like it had the sauce. It looked weird, and I just thought, I don't know. It didn't do it for me. I'm pleased to say that Companion is more than meets the eye. There's actually a lot of cool stuff going on in this movie. I'm surprised it's as cheap as it is. I had heard of, I had seen one byline for the movie that I didn't think was giving away any sort of twist. And when the movie started, I thought, oh no, I accidentally heard what the twist is this movie. No. I heard like the first start of a thread. And Companion's whole thing is like there's a lot of string to unravel with what's going on with this story, and as it slowly starts to come apart and things start to go off the wall, like things really start to go nuts in Companion, it's a really fun time. It's fast, it's quick, small cast, pretty funny, like it's a good time. I really enjoyed Companion. So where do you want to start talking about it?
Well, I want to talk a little bit about our maybe tone and performances. Like I said, I don't want to get into the plot because there's lots of twists and turns that I don't want to give away. But this is a horror comedy. It's not super serious. There's a lot of laughs. There's a lot of jokes. There is horror stuff. If you've seen the trailers, and avoid if you can, but there's lots of blood. We see blood spatters, we see gunshots, we see some kind of fistfights, chases, the usual stuff you would see in a horror movie. So it has those kind of elements, but again, it's lighthearted, it's funny. The couples are really funny. Lukas Gage and Harvey Guillén are this kind of mismatched gay couple where Lucas is way more handsome than Harvey, way more attractive. But again, like Iris, he's also madly in love. Wants Eli to have everything, all of his heart's desire. So we know something's not quite right. And again, Kat, played by Megan Surrey, and Sergey are also a very odd couple. Like I said, he's like 20 years, or she's 20 years his junior. She says at one point, I'm like his sports car. I'm just an accessory. I'm something that he likes to be seen with and then look good with. So that's kind of our set of characters. And I'm not going to talk about when things go wrong, but they inevitably do. And a lot of fun performances. Sophie Thatcher is a star. Like we saw her in the fall in Heretic, and she's going to be a household name. I feel like she's a little bit like Catherine Newton, where Catherine Newton's blown up a lot this year. That's going to be Sophie Thatcher in the next couple of years.
Yeah, the plot reminds me a lot of something like Bodies, 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 A lot of really great talent in the cast, like very young, small cast, like bit of a mystery to pull your audience in and then like pull your characters through, often painfully. Companion's like biggest claims, I think, is like its imagery, right? The striking things we're looking at, like Sophie Thatcher's is a shot in the trailer of her eyes whited out, and there's the thing with her arm on fire, and there's her covered in blood, and like Thatcher manages to hold like that performance really consistently with what her character is doing, which is pretty complicated. And it works great, dude. Like she's alluring, she's endearing. You're hoping for her. You're pulling for her the whole time. It doesn't seem like she's gonna get out of it. And uniquely, like Companion plays with like these roles of like protagonist and antagonist a bit. They kind of jump around. Who is at fault for what's happening, and most importantly, like who is intending for all of this violence to occur versus like who is a victim of this. It kind of walks along that line in a funny way, and Quaid and Thatcher like managed to do it so well together. They seem to have immediate chemistry. Same with Harvey Guillén and Lukas Gage. Like the two of them get along great. Kat and Sergey like are kind of odd characters at the house when we arrive. We know that they know a little bit more maybe than they're letting on, but like in a way that is inviting to the audience and brings you in, moves quickly from our first act to our second act with a surprising reveal, I think, which is really effective. Like from there, it's funny and it's violent still for sure. Like, but I think Companion knows the line of where we can laugh and where we can lean in with our audience. There's a great scene from when Iris and Jack first meet, and Jack's listening to the song "Iris" by the Goo Goo Dolls. Like really ham-fisted and funny. Like yeah, just little tiny touches like that. Like make Companion a really fun watch. And again, I know I just mentioned it, but Harvey Guillén and Lukas Gage are a lot of fun. Guillén's got that sauce from What We Do in the Shadows, like brings it. It's all on display here. It's a great time.
Yeah, it is really enjoyable. There's a lot of fun. There's a lot of jokes, and again, it's horror, and it's definitely has some real violent stuff, but it's also cartoonish in a way. It's not like super scary. I wanted to talk about scale a little bit. So there's a number of films that are come out that are kind of left over from the pandemic era, the lockdown era. A lot of COVID films that were either made during that time or held on to, and this is a little bit of that because it's a very small cast. It's like 10 people total, including some side characters. They're at a deserted, remote, that's the word I'm looking for. They're at a remote cabin, and there's basically two locations. There's the house and then there's the woods, and that's pretty much it. And there's a couple of crowd scenes which are made in flashback, and I think those are the only two scenes where that happens. So it's this small kind of bottle film that seems a little left over from the pandemic era.
Yeah, and it's definitely angling for like the February 14th crowd, right? Bring your boyfriend or girlfriend, come see Companion. It's specifically angled at like younger audiences, 15 to 35 crowd is going to love this movie. They're going to be like, "Oh, Companion's great." Like it knows what it is. In fact, in front of Companion, one of the trailers that ran is this new horror movie Hard Eyes that's coming out. Same could not be a better trailer in front of a movie. Like it's nailing the exact same audience. We're going for like hey, it's the holidays and you might go to a movie for Valentine's because that's a lot of thing a lot of people do. Go see Companion. It'll be fun. Fun cursive font, like rock solid. Director Drew Hancock, I do want to say, has not done a lot of big features. Mostly music videos, mostly some television stuff. As far as I can tell, this is really his first big directorial debut. I'd say probably the biggest. Solid for sure, but also like not a lot of big flash either. He's not doing anything too wild. We're not having crazy robotic camera arms swinging into frame or anything like that. It's like nuts and bolts, like meat and potatoes directing, and it works. Like it gets us over the line, like with some good performances and like a good script. Like Companion solid. I like Companion. I like Companion just fine. I feel like I'm running out of things to say. Andy, any other thoughts for recommendations?
No, again, I don't, because we're avoiding plot. I don't really have much to say.
Yeah, hold on. That is one good button for this. We are avoiding talking about a larger part of the film, but it really is one of those things like the less you know, the better going in. There's a reason the trailers do not show you everything and just kind of get you to intrigue. So know that going into Companion. There's more than meets the eye. With that, Andy, would you recommend Companion?
Yeah, I would, especially for horror fans. It's a good time. It's a quick 100 minutes. It's good for couples. Good if you're single as well. It's got a lot of those horror tropes that I would talk about. There's chases, there's weapons, there's fighting, there's lots of blood in some scenes. Um, it's got it's a little on the nose in some of its messaging, but that's fine too. It's fun. It's camp. It's a good time. Sophie Thatcher is gonna be such a star. She's gonna be so huge in the next few years, I think. Highly recommend.
Yeah, same. It's a lot of fun. Love Jack Quaid. Love Harvey Guillén. Lukas Gage is an up and comer. Sophie Thatcher is definitely an up and comer. Like, watch this space, kids. Companion's a good time. I feel like this might be one of those movies that in a few years people look back and be like, dude, Companion had a stacked cast. Like, yeah, small, quiet. I like it. Companion's good stuff. Very imaginative. Would recommend. With that, we should move into our next segment. Andy, what do we call this?
It's time for the trailer park.